All right. Hello, everybody. I am here with Conrad Cayman of the
Hello.
LA area. Conrad's going to be coming and teaching at the Reno Ukefest this year. And so we wanted to just kind of give you a chance to get to know him a little bit. So, Conrad, first off, let's just qualify it as you will be teaching two bass classes, but it
Correct.
wasn't because you didn't have a long, great looking list of ukulele. We
No.
just had a need and you're filling it for us, and we appreciate that a lot.
Yes. Yes, totally.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am a multi-instrumentalist. My specialty is old jazz tunes from 1900 to about 1930, but I'm a big music fan, so I actually love stuff from all eras. But what I do for
Yeah.
work is to play stuff from, 1900s to 1930s or so.
Okay.
Um, so start with the ukes. I play tenor and baritone, as well as bass, guitar, and upright bass. And bass is actually what I've been working on a lot this summer. Actually, this whole year has been my bass gigs have really just taken over.
Yep.
So it's kind of great timing that you're asking me to teach bass because it's very fresh in my head.
That's so cool. Yeah, Perry's always saying because he used to be a hired bass player. And
Mhm.
he was saying, man, you get the gigs, especially if you play the upright. But
Mhm.
bass players are often in multiple bands because they get the gigs. You know.
Yeah, always room for a bass player.
Yeah. Okay. So and you also represent Ohana ukuleles. Is that right?
Yes, a friend of Ohana. It started off by I needed a uke and I went to a music store and I bought their banjolele because I said, "Oh, I can use this on some of my gigs," and I
Oh,
loved it. And then later, a couple of months later at the LA Uke Fest, I saw they had a booth there and I went up to Lewis and I said, "Hey, I just bought one of your ukes and I love it."
yeah.
And he says, "Oh, that's great," and he was so kind and
Hmm.
generous. And then I just did my best to just keep talking to them, and I saw them at the NAM show and just started hanging out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, over the years, it's turned into a working relationship. So
Yeah.
all my ukes are Ohana. I'm happy to help support them because they're such great people.
Yeah. Aren't they? And I have to qualify too that Perry and I met Conrad at the NAM show at the Ohana
Mm.
booth. And we
Yeah.
went up to play, and he's like, I think you offered to play with us, or Perry had overheard you playing or something and invited you
Um,
over. I can't remember
it
how
was a
it
little more
happened.
devious. It was definitely a little
Oh,
more devious because when you specialize in this old music, you hardly ever hear people playing it. And I think you guys were either playing, I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter.
yeah,
And I happened to have my
1933.
uke in my hand, and I just started jamming along because I'm like, I know this one.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
man,
from there, it sparked the conversation between you and me and Perry after that.
that's right. But from my perspective, it's like as soon as Perry and I heard him playing, we're like, oh, this guy's got chops, man. And then you
Oh,
join us for a bass song, and it was clear that
yeah,
you knew what you were doing. And that's, there's all different levels of musicians, and there's all different journeys that we're all on. But some
mhm,
people have been simply dedicating more time and energy to the craft and the
yeah,
excellence of playing. And that's how you struck us as someone who
yeah.
does it that way.
I think you just touched on something important that we all have different journeys.
Yeah.
I worked corporate until I was in my late 30s.
No.
So I didn't leave the corporate world until, yeah, right around 40 years old.
I'm in my late
Um,
30s, man.
so
That's
there you
like
go.
my age. Wow. Can you imagine switching gears at this time in life? Oh, that would be
Yeah,
scary.
still time. There's still time. So I don't think I started going to jazz camps, traditional jazz camps, in my early 40s, around 40-ish and stuff. And
Oh,
then my first professional gig wasn't until I was about 41, 42. So I'm
whoa,
51
man.
now.
Wow.
So it's been 10 years of being a professional musician. I started playing when I was 18, but in my living room for 20 years.
Whoa,
So
man. Well, that's a testament to everybody that if you're in your living room practicing with no one listening, you're still getting the job done, getting
you're
ready
still
for those
learning. Yeah.
days when you're going to go out and show your stuff to
Yeah.
people.
And I started with open mics and things. So
Yep.
it's,
I did the same
everyone
thing.
has that journey.
Well,
Um,
we also formed a family band recently with Juju
oh,
and Perry and I, and we're
uh,
practicing a song last night. And I said, okay, this is for Reno, but we're only going to play it if it sounds really good. And I suggested we should really go to a couple of open mics, like just so we can all, as a family, feel the rhythm of the music when there's no metronome playing and all that kind of stuff. So open mics. absolutely invaluable for musicians.
Yeah,
I'm
totally
happy to
agree.
hear you say the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm not music school trained.
Yeah,
Um,
me
and
neither,
I
man.
play with a lot of people that are all music school trained, and
Yeah.
the adage, always surround yourself with people better than or more skilled than you, and you'll be
Hmm.
forced to catch up.
That's exactly right.
Uh,
Yeah. Just keep
so
raising
that's part
yourself
of it.
up higher. Cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so passions, projects currently that you're working on?
Working on a solo album that was supposed to be done a couple of years ago during the pandemic, but
Okay.
the things get switched around, and I had to shift to my other job a little bit. But hopefully, I will have it done by the time the Reno Uke happens.
Mm.
So it'll
Wow,
be a
it's two
short
months
EP,
away.
probably like 7, 8 tunes. So I'll be playing everything. I'm I was deciding, do I make it just a ukulele album, but I want to bring in all the instruments. I want more colors to paint with.
Yeah.
So it'll be a mixed album, but the
Wow.
whole theme behind it is I'll play all of the instruments on it.
That's so cool, man. I can't wait to hear it.
And crossing fingers I get it done.
Yeah. Oh gosh, with all of us, isn't that the way?
Right.
Um, okay, so we've learned a little bit about you. And now I just want to ask, I think, well, we've already talked about how valuable your musicianship skills are. And so one of the reasons why we're really excited that you've joined the teaching staff at Reno is because we've got all these musicians coming in. You know, many of them, if not all of them, and we're going to be doing some collaboration. And so having somebody like you to come along and be able to jump in there and play this or that, we'll talk about the songs coming up here pretty soon. But really looking forward to just kind of having you join the fusion of the band, as it were.
Yeah, that's super fun.
It's one of the special things about getting all these musicians together who don't usually hang out together, or some of them do,
Right.
some of them don't. Yeah.
And for
So,
everyone starting their journeys or earlier in the journeys, this is a spot you can get to. The better your ears are trained, once your hands are familiar with the chords and you get familiar with some of the lingo, you will be able to just jump in with somebody, hey, how about we do this song? I've never heard that before. Oh, the chord progression is this, this, and this. Okay, I can do that. And that's how, so we want to push you to that level where you can
yes.
start to just spontaneously join someone else and play.
Okay. And so that perfectly leads into what classes you're going to be teaching
Ah,
in the bass
okay.
department.
So yes, we both have this Ohana base. So one of the first things, I think it's in the class description, there's a joke about a bass player. I'll tell the full joke because it's short. A guy decides he needs to take bass lessons. And so the very first week, the teacher teaches him an F, or sorry, a C. Um, Second week, he teaches him a G.
Okay.
Third week, he teaches him an F.
Uh huh.
The fourth week, the kid doesn't show up. And the teacher runs into him in town and says, "Hey, you haven't been showing up for lessons." He goes, "Oh, I've been gigging." So what I mean by that is if I take those three notes and that technique is used a ton in country, in bluegrass, in
Yeah.
jazz, and it's just one of the bass things that you have to learn for a bass, pun intended. Um, is when you hit your root note, you should know where your fifth is because that's going to be the most important other tune that's going to pair with that.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so that's the base 102 class. The base 103 is going to expand on that. So in a chord, we have a root, a third, and a fifth. So we already did the fifth, but now you're going to learn how to do major chords and outline a major chord. You're going to learn to outline a minor chord and maybe even outline a seventh chord. And
Which we
how
can't
that
hear, but I understand the
okay,
concepts.
but you can see the
I like
fingers
watching your
if you can
fingers.
hear
Yeah.
it. um,
I was like, he did something different.
yeah. So from there, you're gonna hear how that can enhance how you play a song.
Yes.
Different levels of playing bass. You can just hit the root over and over and over again,
Hmm.
as in punk, as in rock. If you're
Hmm.
playing country, then you're going to be hitting the root and five a lot.
Yep.
And then as you get more as you want to paint with more colors, you'll hear me say that a lot. Then you start to add in those major thirds, the minor thirds, the
Yeah.
sevenths, the extensions, wherever you want to go.
Yeah. So I can attest to that. I've been on my own bass journey
Mhm.
and I've learned a lot of songs. I've learned
Uh,
to memorize songs. A lot of times it would, in the beginning, it was just like where to put my fingers. So then when I go to perform, I was always a little nervous. I was like, am I supposed to reach for fret 6 or fret 7? I wasn't
Mhm,
in conceptualizing what chord I was supposed to be playing. So
mhm,
then I started learning songs where I was like, oh, okay, this is Walking After Midnight or something. So it's like I know in my head what those chords are, 1, 4, and 5. So I was able to start making those associations. But we were just at the MCUF Music City Ukulele Festival in
mhm,
Tennessee, which was really fun.
mhm,
And Rev was there. And he texted us about a week before and he goes, oh, I chose my set list here. Perry will do uke on this and Dani will do bass. And I was
mhm,
looking at it, I was like, I've never heard that song before. And Perry goes, you'll be fine. It's an 8-bar blues. And we got together for one practice and I was nervous because in
mhm,
the middle of a performance, I don't want to forget, but I was able to take everything I'd learned
mhm,
and put it into a little structure in my mind. And I just did the same thing over and over again. And I
mhm.
went out there and did it, even though I could have said, oh no, I need like 2 months to practice this before you
Right.
put me out there. I don't want to make you look bad. And I
Mhm.
didn't make him look bad that I recall.
So that's really kind of essential to my personal teaching style is
Mm,
I'm not the give a man a fish or give a person a fish. I'm
that's what we
a
think.
teach a
Mhm.
person to fish.
Yeah.
Rather than giving you a handout of a song that just has the lyrics and the chords and going through that, and there's a place for that.
Yeah.
Um, I would rather give you the concepts that are going to enhance your playing, something that you can take away and apply to other songs that you do.
That's right.
So definitely teach a man to fish
Yeah.
rather than give a man a fish.
So you'll be giving them some formulas that they can go and take and use on another song to create their own
Yes.
bass line for like the jam or for a band or something.
Yeah. Whatever music they love, hopefully they can walk away with something that they can say, "Oh, I learned that in that class. I want to use that in here."
Yeah. Very cool, man. I think that's the way to do it too. It's empowering that way. It's
Yeah.
not just here's a song. It's
Right.
here's a formula. Yeah.
Mhm.
We love that.
Cool.
Cool, man. Well, I know for a fact that one of the booths at Reno is going to have Ohana bases on sale. So,
Ooh.
anybody watching at home, if you're curious about it and you watched this interview and you thought, I think that Conrad seems like a pretty nice guy, then you might consider bringing some money, getting your bass, and sitting in on the class, learn something new. I know it's changed
Absolutely.
the way I play my ukulele for sure,
Mhm.
knowing both. So we've got your website down there at the bottom. People can get a hold of you through your website or through Instagram,
Mhm.
but not so much Facebook. We talked
Yeah.
about how you're
Right.
not quite navigating that as much. So if you want to get a hold of Conrad, he's also going to be including an extra bit of a walking bass line in his base 103 handout. So he's encouraging people, if you want to, once that handout's up and available, if you want to peruse it, take a look at it. If you go up and he's got some time at the festival, he says he's happy to sit down with you and talk to you about
Yeah. I think my
those.
classes were Friday, so I
I
have
believe so.
2 full days of hanging out before I have
Oh,
to teach. So yeah,
so if you
feel
see
free to just say
Conrad,
hi.
just
I'm still meeting people in the festival circuit,
yeah,
so please absolutely just come and say hi and ask questions. I'm here for you guys.
excellent, man. Cool. Well, it's so good to have you on board. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, have a beautiful day, and we'll see you at the next one.